Taking a look at Azrael, you can see they actually sculpted a huge pair of testicles on the action figure, which is a very questionable move by McFarlane, but a very bold one I approve of. Alright guys, here we are with the DC Multiverse McFarlane Toys Azrael. I've been waiting for this guy for a long time. He's finally in the mail and I am very stoked to have him. This is the Azrael from the White Knight story, however he really just resembles the classic Azrael kind of look. I don't know if it's the classic look, but other iterations of him, it really resembles just a really general Azrael look. So you could use some other displays and stuff, I guess. But he comes from the White Knight story, that's where this look is derived from. And you can see he looks great in the box. The packaging looks cool. It's 12 and up on the top. DC Multiverse Azrael. You can see it has 22 moving parts. McFarlane Toys, the little Spawn looking logo. On the side just says Azrael, very basic. This side it's you can see Batman Curse of the White Knight Azrael. And Curse of the White Knight is the second volume of Sean Gordon Murphy's whole storyline with the White Knight. The third volume is coming out and I believe it'll be the last, so keep an eye out for that. And you can see here a very nice picture on the back that Sean Gordon Murphy illustrated himself, and it is beautiful looking, looks fantastic. Other characters in this line are on the bottom, so let's crack this dude open and see what he's all about. Okay, so first off, Azrael comes with this, or Azrael I guess, Azrael, I don't know. It comes with this badass art like we saw in the back of the box by Sean Gordon Murphy, from The Curse of the White Knight, the second volume of the whole White Knight run that Murphy's doing, and some beautiful art by him, looks fantastic. On the back of the card you get a little read up on Azrael, and I don't know if it tells you the history or anything about the whole story behind John Paul Valley in this, but it's quite intriguing. So source is Batman Curse of the White Knight, that's what they base this look off of. Real name is John Paul Valley. The height was 6'4", weight 250, so this dude is fucking stacked. War vet, Knight of the Order of St. Dumas, and now the Joker's key recruit in the crusade against Batman. Azrael's the Dark Knight's most powerful new threat, and the one living link to a devastating secret about the Wayne family's legacy in Gotham City. So if you don't know anything else about Azrael, and you're like, well, he looks badass, I know him from the Arkham Knight games, who is he? I don't think the one from the Arkham Knight game is technically Jean Paul Valley. I don't know. I genuinely have no idea. I haven't read up on it really, but I know Jean Paul Valley was introduced. Well, I don't know if he was initially like introduced in what was it, Nightfall, where Bane breaks Batman. He breaks the bat, breaks his back, literally fucking snaps it like a pretzel, baby, like a stick. But basically, this dude he takes over for Batman and he's just fucking crazy and starts fucking murdering people. So he's a wild dude and he was a cool character then, but he's honestly even better in this story. I love his whole arc, but cool trading card, not necessarily necessary, but cool little thing. I dig it. And then of course we get a stand like we get with every DC figure, and if you want to put Jean Paul on his stand, you can just stick the peg here. You can see there's a peg on it right in the peg hole in the bottom of his foot, and he's definitely not going anywhere. It stays on pretty nicely, so that's cool. And then taking a look at Valley's sword here, Azrael, you can see he comes with some beautifully sculpted flames, man. The flames look absolutely incredible. Just my light here, sorry. But very, very nice flames that you can just slide off there. They're very, very easy to slide on and off. Ridiculously easy. So that's very, very nice. And they're a hard plastic too. They don't really move much, so it's kind of nice. But they look good overall. The sword has some really nice paint work. I do not see any paint imperfections that really stand out to me. The hilt is done very, very nicely. It actually matches my backdrop there quite a bit, but it looks very nice ribbed look with the grip and stuff. The top of this hilt goes up really, really far and just looks really nice overall. And you can see, because he's a part of St. Dumas, or like the Templars basically, they have little Jesus right there. But it's kind of ironic though, as he's upside down when you're holding the sword. Isn't that kind of like satanic or something? I don't know. But either way, it's cool that they added that little detail. McFarlane, they did really, really nice work. It just overall looks beautiful, man. Very cool sword. And if you want his sword to go in his hands, it does fit in both his hands. However, the hands are kind of a harder plastic, so you might have a fun time kind of taking that in and out. See if I can pop that in here for you guys. So it does fit in there pretty decent overall. If you want him to hold the sword two-handed, good luck. The dude's pretty freaking jacked. He has a huge chest. And I mean, it resembles the art, but it's almost impossible to get him to hold the sword in two hands. So if you can do it, let me know, but I cannot get him to do it at all. So it's kind of unfortunate. So taking a look at this dude's details, obviously you can see right off the bat he has beautiful sculpt work, man. Beautiful paint work as well. This black kind of wash going through this cloth part of his suit. This sculpt on the actual like shoulder pads, shoulder guards. Beautiful, man. The head sculpt is wonderful as well. As you can see, I'll tilt my camera up here for you guys and zoom in. A very, very solid head sculpt that isn't overwhelmed by the hood. The hood is a perfect size. At first I thought the head was a little small, but it's really not. It fits perfect. And it actually fits into a little pocket under behind his bones here. The what am I thinking of? Collarbone. It actually kind of fits in a pocket behind his collarbone, and the hood is actually attached to that little joint. So the hood doesn't really go anywhere. It's not falling off. And it looks really nice, and I love how it's like a really soft plastic, so when you pose him, it just kind of crushes up to the side there and looks kind of natural. Overall, the paint work on his head and everything is solid. The sculpt work is really beautiful. I do not have any complaints with it. On the end back here piece, you can see the hood kind of hangs off like Deadpool's does, so that's very, very nice. The hood overall is a really cool touch. And obviously, the cape just pops. How can you not talk about this cape here, man? Like, oh my god. It's a really Mr. Sinister kind of cape where it just hangs, kind of drapes in these different strands almost. It kind of looks like a curtain of some sort. It just is beautiful though. The way it arches up and comes back down, they did a fantastic job. You can see individually here on the end of each little strand hanging down, you have nice gold sculpting. A little bit of paint problems there, but nothing terribly noticeable that really bugs me at all. Honestly, you can't be too picky. This looks gorgeous as well. The belt and everything is sculpted so nice. The cross is beautiful. I love how they did all the gold metallics. And like I said, I've said a million times before, the figure, consistency is important, and this guy has it. He's very, very consistent with his color scheme. The straps are all sculpted. They're red on the edges there. I might just go in and touch that up. But again, $20. This dude has beautiful detail, and that is a really minor imperfection. Gold sculpting all throughout the gauntlets here. That is just beautiful, man. Nice red in there that matches his suit as well. Really, really cool. I love this here. These little things that hang off that are soft plastic. Very Templar-esque, you know. He's a Christian warrior on a crusade. Very badass. Only bummer I could say is that this piece of articulation here is just kind of glossy, but I really don't have a problem with that. The legs match the costume as well. Very nice. I love this soft plastic here. And I love the fact that this really soft material just has beautiful paint work on it, dude. You can see the little dagger here that is not removable, but that's okay. That sword is enough for me anyways. And I don't really recall him using the dagger in the actual Curse of the White Knight story. So, whatever. But overall, the boots look cool too. They're pretty plain and basic, but they match. You know, it's all very accurate to his comic counterpart. Even the backside here has beautiful details and nice sculpting work up here. More on the backside. You can almost see the red bleeding through a little bit, but just barely. Not enough to really be a problem. On the back of the legs here, you can see these joints do not match the rest of the costume. And it almost looks like they tried to kind of sculpt them and make them look natural, but it didn't really work out, but that's okay. They are double jointed knees, so that's cool. They also kind of sculpted this here to blend in with the bottom of the leg, so that's pretty nice. And the joints here also have very nice sculpt work as well that blend in with the arm, even though they're single jointed. I like the sculpt work personally. And the bicep swivel here is actually hidden within the costume, so that's very beautiful work, man. Overall, I'm literally giving this figure a 10 out of 10 for detail. That shit is like spot the fuck on. Beautiful, amazing. I'm in love with it. I adore it. So taking a look at this guy, one brilliant thing they did here, like I said before, is they actually attached the hood to this piece of articulation here. So when you put his head back, it still kind of can't go back. When you put it forward, nothing really gets in the way. And I think if they actually didn't have this back piece so high, the head would actually go back pretty nice. So that's a cool piece of articulation there. I really like that. So his head looks forward pretty far, back okay, basically just straight. And there is a cool pivot there that actually works really nicely. So, I mean, I wouldn't recommend putting that on all their figures, but for hooded figures that are bulky as shit, I definitely think it works. So, very cool piece of articulation. The arms go out pretty far on that side, out farther on this side, but this has a shoulder pad. So, I mean, sculpting at the expense of articulation, which is fine by me. I will pay that price. Aside from that, the arms go up and down. On this side, they can probably go all the way around if you'd like them to. There is a bicep swivel hiding in these arms as well, single jointed elbows. There is a butterfly joint in there that works a little. And I should mention this is kind of a softer plastic, but it doesn't really matter because the articulation doesn't really help the articulation at all, so whatever. But it's a nice soft plastic. So single jointed elbows, a rotation at the wrist, and obviously a little pivot because it's a ball joint. So you can pivot this down, rotate it, turn it around, and then pivot it in and out and up and down. So you can switch the direction of that, so that's cool. There's a swivel here at the abs and a swivel here at the waist, as well as a rotation and a little bit of a pivot from side to side. And he can go back pretty far, actually, farther than I would have thought, and forward pretty far too, farther than I would have thought. So very nice piece of articulation here. The skirt is actually, oh wow, look at that. You can see it's attached to the soft plastic piece on his pelvis here as well, where the leg joint hides. So that's very nice. Like I said, very organic look overall that doesn't, like, you know, kind of look terrible in my opinion. So overall, I really like that. The legs go forward very, very far. They go back pretty far as well. They're not really hindered because there's a soft plastic piece where his ass is, so that's pretty cool. And it kind of looks like the ass is actually sculpted onto the back of the leg, so it doesn't hinder the articulation. And then you put that soft plastic piece over it, and it kind of hides that. So I really, really like that. I'd like to see that on some Hasbro figures, dude. They kind of do it with the G.I. Joes, but not enough. That piece of articulation works, honestly, very well. So double jointed knees as well, and I should mention that the legs do obviously go completely out. McFarlane's pretty good about that. Tad bit of rotation here at the top of the leg. There is obviously a ball joint in his foot there, so you can go forward about that far, down about that far, and back. So it's kind of a bummer, but this is also kind of a softer piece. Still doesn't work too well. And there is a little bit of an ankle pivot. Actually, a lot of it works pretty nicely, and a hinge in the toes. So very cool. And here is Batman and Joker from the White Knight run by Gordon Murphy, right next to Azrael from the same run by Sean Gordon Murphy. And beautiful comparison, man. I'm so glad to see these guys together. His height matches perfectly with the Joker and Batman. If you are standing the Joker straight up, he's about the same height as both of them. So they're all honestly pretty fair in height. They're all about the same height, which I think is absolutely correct and works perfect. And here he is next to the Jim Lee Batman and the Arkham Asylum Batman. And I'm going to say for the most part, he actually is pretty good in size with these guys. I think he actually matches their height pretty well. We put his head straight forward, especially. I think, honestly, he's about the same height as both of them. More so the Jim Lee Batman. The other one's a bit taller, his head's a bit longer. But I'm going to say you could totally display Azrael fighting either of these guys, and it would actually work pretty well. Only thing is he's a bit beefier than both of them, but yeah, you could still make it work. He looks cool. So I highly recommend you guys go and pick this figure up. He's a beautiful piece of art, man. He is a piece of art. He resembles Sean Gordon Murphy's art just spot on, man. The details, the paintwork, the accessories, all of it, the proportions and the height. This figure is easily one of the best DC Multiverse figures we have seen, along with the other two White Knight figures. So very, very pleased with this guy. If you see him, make sure you definitely pick him up. If you want to order him online, totally worth it. Get to it, man. He's a beautiful addition to the DC Multiverse collection, and I'm just falling in love with this line more and more with each figure. Beautiful. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. I hope you subscribe. I hope you enjoyed it. Comment below. Let me know if you've read Curse of the White Knight, if you read the first volume of White Knight, and let me know what you think of that whole series. Let me know what you think of the figures in general, all three of them. Tell me what you think, especially Azrael. Personally, I am so pleased with them. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Take care and keep collecting. Peace.